Before we start this video, I do want to say a couple things. BladeBound will be at Gen Con this year. I myself will be GMing games with Darrington Press at Envoy on Thursdays and Fridays, and AJ will be attending as a regular attendee. So if you plan on being at Gen Con, please let us know down in the comments below, or hop on our Discord and join the Gen Con thread. We'd love to meet you and thank you for your support. And second, this episode of Duality was recorded prior to the launch of Daggerheart, so the armor system had not changed by that point. So when you see us in combat, referring to armor and reducing it by a number, that's why, because we used the old rules. And with that being said, let's jump into this episode of Duality.
Welcome to BladeBound Saga.
Welcome to Duality, a Daggerheart community podcast where we bring together creators, influencers, and storytellers from the Daggerheart space. In this series, we're going to explore the heart of the game by connecting you with the people who bring it to life. I'm Daniel, your host, and this show is proudly brought to you by BladeBound Saga. And today we are diving into another exciting episode where our guest has created a Daggerheart character inspired by their real life. And in just like every other episode of Duality, we've invited this special guest to understand why they took these choices and how it represents their own journey. However, what makes Duality really stand out is that our guest is going to face an encounter where they're going to use the character they made to battle an adversary at the end of the episode. Along the way, we'll roll Duality Dice, answering questions about who they are, their triumphs, their struggles, in what we know in Daggerheart as hope and fear. So would you all join me in welcoming today's guest, Rachel?
Hope, fear. You roll the dice. Duality.
Rachel, it's great to have you here again. For you've all seen her before if you watched Scapegoats Plunder, which was our short little community podcast, as have all the guests. But Rachel, I just want to know, and just for the audience, because I already know actually, tell us a little bit about yourself. Who are you? Where are you from? And how you got involved with this community of Daggerheart.
Oh, sure. I'm Rachel. I am the creator of and the GM for, or at least the primary GM for, the Faint Divinities, a channel on YouTube, primarily for the posted videos, but Twitch, if you want to watch us live, that focuses on Daggerheart. I like to say, and I think that I'm not lying, that we are the first channel created specifically for Daggerheart and only Daggerheart content. The name of the channel, The Faint Divinities, was pulled from the open beta 1.2 manuscript. So that's nice. And yeah, I got involved through the open beta.
Yeah, I remember absolutely falling in love with Daggerheart in Gen Con of 2023 when the game had just launched, and I was like struggling to find content that as soon as the open beta opened, I think I found your channel almost immediately.
Yeah.
And then, as we've conversed through Discords and
Because we're
and
in all
other
of the same
convention,
places.
yeah, I feel like we just continue to just like meet, and then obviously we've played through a whole campaign together.
Yeah.
But yeah, I remember messaging you once. It's like I was reading through the manuscript because I kind of skipped through the first portion just to
I
get to the
remember
gameplay,
this. Yeah.
and I was like, hold on, and then I like took a screenshot, sent you a message like, did you get this from the book? And I'm like, that is such a good name for a Daggerheart channel.
Yeah, I snatched on it. I thought initially Faint Divinities Incorporated, but I just the Faint Divinities was easier. I think our Discord still technically is called Faint Divinities Incorporated in certain areas. But yeah, no, I jumped on it really fast. I had fallen out of love with Dungeons and Dragons for a little while and kind of wasn't playing a lot of tabletop. And so when I saw Daggerheart becoming a thing from Critical Role, who I've been watching
Mhm.
since campaign 1, I started live in the Briarwood arc. Um, I was like, that's gonna be the thing. This is my whole personality from here on out.
Yeah, that's awesome. So yeah, let's jump right into the podcast. The guests know if they've watched the first couple episodes, but we are going to just kind of dissect the character sheet that Rachel has made to represent her. And I have access to it. The link to the character sheet will be in the description if you want to follow along with us. But Rachel, I want to talk about your ancestry first before we dive into anything else. I see you picked Fawn
I
from
did.
all the possible options because there actually are a lot of options for
There's
for
so many ancestry
heritages.
options.
Um,
Yeah.
why Fawn?
So this was the thing that I struggled the most with. I am a big video game player too, and I almost always am the token human. I love to play a token human. And in my life, mostly being a Lord of the Rings girly, I claim to be a halfling. That would have worked and stuff. But I couldn't find something. I guess honestly, fawns aren't usually something that's available. And I feel very connected to first. I don't think a lot of people would know that I am kind of outdoorsy. I love being in a forest. I don't like running outside, but I like a walk down a beautiful secluded lane because I was raised in the woods. Um, and then also I am very impish as a person, I think. I think you might know that about me. And I love fantasy and I'm driven towards that. I'm playful. Also, I have really strong legs, and I don't think that that's a thing that a lot of people would know about me. I have thick tree trunk legs and they're very strong, and I use them to win in wrestling matches with my boyfriend.
Yeah, I feel like the fawn always gets overlooked because everyone immediately sees it and it's like, oh, that's some Fey stuff. Fawns aren't inherently Fey in Daggerheart.
Yeah, yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
And also, but I will say, not inherently Fey oriented, could just be like of the forest and everything because Daggerheart is such a different thing. Part of my reasoning for choosing Fawn, though, is certainly because I feel a little bit. I believe in the magic of the world. I love a fortune cookie. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't give a shit if you don't. Can we curse?
Sure. Yeah. No,
Okay.
perfectly
I
fine. We
don't
did in
give a
Scapegoat, so
shit
it's fine.
so much. I don't know. I really like astrology. I really don't care if other people do or not. It's just more fun than anything else. I like mysticism in my storytelling, and I also like to bring it in wherever I can in life because I love joy. That's my whole paradigm.
Yeah. So, okay. So you touched up a little bit on this and it kind of ties into your community that you picked for Wildborn. Um,
I did.
you said you were raised in the forest or in the woods?
Yes, I was born in a very small town. My graduating class of high school had 56 students in it to give like a reference number. We did not
Yeah.
have a Walmart or a
Very small.
McDonald's. Yeah. The nearest Walmart or McDonald's was like 45 miles away. And it's in Texas. It is in the Piney Wood Forest. That is where I'm from. I'm from a forest with a lot of rivers and lakes, and I grew up on a lot of property where there were woods adjacent. I just wander through the woods a lot. Wild backstory about
For
me,
sure.
but this
No.
is
I
true.
and I don't think I would ever pick up on that given or how we know you from your
Yeah.
online persona. It's like never once would we think. I mean, it's hard to imagine people being foresty when you're on Discord monitor interfacing with people. So
Yeah, listen, as soon as The Sims came out, I took off running. And also, I'm here to say that I think a lot of people in these small rural, I have a hard time saying that because I grew up with a tongue tie, but rural communities, I think they are some of your most avid video game players because what else is there to do a lot of the
that's
time?
fair.
Yeah.
Totally fair.
My mom raised me playing video games. I had a Sega Genesis, an original Nintendo, an SNES. One of my first video games was Chrono Trigger that my mom and I played together when I was like, I don't know, 4, 5, 7. I don't know. Time is weird, but I was little. Yeah.
Yeah. All
I
right.
love technology now.
Yeah, so with your heritage, before we jump into class, this brings us to our first duality roll of the night and our first random question. So I know you have your dice ready because we talked about
I
this before the
do.
session and how you only roll physical dice.
Yep.
Go ahead and give me a duality roll for me.
Okay, okay. I'm going to roll my pink and green ones just because I think that's very fun for Fawn. Okay, listen. It is going to be 12 with hope, if that should matter.
12 with hope.
Should I mark that on my character sheet?
Yeah, you will add that hope to it. If you roll with hope, it goes to you. But if you
Oh,
roll with fear, it goes to me.
oh
But a 12
no.
with hope.
Okay.
Um, what is a proud achievement in your own life that you very much cherish the most?
Proud achievement in my own life. This is gonna be really super weird. Um, because it's not like personal necessarily. I grew up with a difficult family and home life. And so a lot of my family are found family and friends and things like that. And my best friend, who's actually Kayla, who is a regular, she plays Princess Honora, a ribbit highborn bard on our The Faint Divinities channel. We have been like sisters since we were 5, and I first saw her on the playground. And we have forged like such a close connection that I have been at every one of her 3 sons' births. Physically there, it's just me, her husband, and her, that's it, and the new life that's brought in. And I don't think a lot of people would think of that as an achievement necessarily. I've definitely done some really uh things that people would think are impressive in a business context, but I don't really live to work. I work to live kind of as a
Yeah,
person. So I would say that I think is such a blessing to me. And I love her so wholeheartedly. And that. Was
that's
there a
awesome.
second part of that question?
No, that's perfectly that's exactly what I was asking though. I
Oh,
definitely wasn't expecting it to be a relationship at all.
yeah.
I think I was expecting it to be something else, but that's really cool.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah,
I
let's
love
jump
her.
into let's jump into your class. As
Mhm.
you are the first, even though it's only been 3 episodes, but you are the first person to multi-class. So let's first answer the question: why
Fuck
did you
yeah.
pick your base class, or what is your base class, and why did you pick it?
My base class, I feel that all will be surprised and shocked, is a guardian, a stalwart guardian specifically. Um, I think everyone, we were joking about this when we were last playing for the Scapegoat's Plunder and everything. I play in a bard in that. I think a lot of people think of me as a bard. I certainly have a lot of bardic things, but I feel like my core is actually not my presence and charisma as much as it is the level of get shit done and authoritative. And um I am I don't mean to say this in any kind of however it comes across, I'm so sorry for it. I can be quite the force to be reckoned with when I am not napping. So
That's not how I
yeah,
thought the sentence was going to end.
I'm one or the other. I'm asleep or I am getting shit done, and that is exclusively how I function. And my sleeps are very, very long and intense. But yeah, I also in Dungeons and Dragons 5th edition, as most of us, I started there and it was home for a long time. I've always been a paladin main, which I think you're either going to go Seraph or you're going to go Guardian in
Mhm.
Daggerheart if you're a pally like myself. I was always Oath of the Ancients specifically. And it's because I think although I love playing support and although I love magic, I really cannot resist running straight into combat. I am
Yeah.
melee first and foremost every day of my life. Feel like it suited me. So
Yeah.
that's it.
Now, why stalwart and not vengeance? I'm just curious.
I'm just not like I certainly have rage. I have rage
Sure. Sure. Sure.
issues.
Sure.
Absolutely I do. But I think that it's a good point. The stalwart side certainly is I it's complex because when you think of a guardian, really what it's supposed to be is a tank that is in service of your people. And I think I am not the traditional thing that you think of when that comes up, meaning I am not defensive as a person for my friends. I am certainly offensive for my friends, though. That I think is some of the times that I can be like the scariest and everything. Is when I'm standing for my friends. And I also consistently kind of too much. My friends and my families, they tell me this that I try to take on too much a lot of the time to the point of exhaustion for others. Yeah. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
I have been there 100%.
Yeah.
That being,
GMs. We're both GMs,
yeah, no,
Daniel.
that's also fair. I always feel like as a GM, you
You are the tank.
unintentionally you have a desire to make people happy.
Yes, I know. There is
So
it's a concerning personality type that is the GM of your friend group, and
yeah.
that's what I am. I am, what is it? A submissive Tom? I don't know what it's called. A service Tom.
Sure.
A service Tom.
Yeah. I don't know. Psychology was not ever my strong suit and all the definitions. So
That's a Bria Iyengar. She said that I think at one point. I'm a service top, and yep.
yeah. Now you kind of psyched everyone out because you said like, oh, everyone thought I was going to be a bard. Okay, first off,
Yeah.
you are a bard because that is what you picked for your multi-class. Explain to me why did you decide not to further go guardian but then choose to go multi-class specifically?
Because I feel like I do have to pay homage homage. I have to pay homage to that aspect of my personality because certainly if you meet me, the thing that you will think immediately is that is a loud person. That is a
Sure.
she's talking a lot. I think that I'm not everybody's favorite cup of tea, but I certainly am for a lot of people friendly and people I have an approachable thing and I have a good presence check. There's no reason for me to be the quiet thing. I can be multidimensional.
Yeah.
I'm also verbose as fuck. Like wordsmith bard really
Yep.
just is part of it for me. So yeah. And I'm a
That
storyteller.
Yeah, that makes total sense. I mean, once again, in the GMC, that's kind of where we're at.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I totally resonate with that, and that was the one that I was expecting. And so when I saw initially the sheet, I saw Jess Guardian. I was like, oh, and then I kept
Uh-huh.
looking down. And I was like, oh,
Well, and
oh,
look at
okay,
I don't know if we're gonna get to like domain cards and stuff, but like I
yep,
think that makes it make more sense.
yeah,
I'm not the traditional guardian, but I damn sure am a guardian.
yeah, awesome. So, this brings us to our second duality roll. So go ahead and give me
Oh,
another duality roll here before we jump into your traits and your stats.
okay. Yes. Okay. All right. 17 with hope and
17
11
with
on my
hope.
hope die.
17 with hope. Go ahead and add that hope as I'm still sitting at my one measly fear so far. With a 17 with hope, what is your favorite system or mechanic in any tabletop RPG?
My favorite system is Alice is Missing from Spencer Stark.
Okay.
Like, I love tabletop. Sorry, that was very aggressive. Come on, everybody, it's fine. My favorite is Alice is Missing from Spencer Stark, who also helped to create Daggerheart. And it is the story of a small town where your group of friends comes back for the summer or whenever, and I think it's technically winter, and one of your friends is missing, and then you play throughout the game as characters. It is silent because you are each texting each other as though you're all in your own bedrooms figuring out where your friend is. And
Oh.
oh my God, is it incredible? It has an incredible online feature for it. If you are in the community and you want to play Alice is Missing, all you got to do is ask, honey, because I love it so much. My favorite piece of it, though, I don't know. It is so pseudo mechanical. It's almost not mechanical, but I have to talk about it. It is a game that will be completed in an hour and a half. I say it will be completed because Spencer Stark and the developers of that game worked on a soundtrack that has a website linked to it for the game. You play that as it begins, and as certain scenes shift, the game shifts with it. The music in that soundtrack still will make me cry with nothing going on anywhere else because of the memories that I have of playing that game and having the intensity of what's happening and like the sad song. Oh my God, so good. Play Alice is Missing. They have an expansion now.
Still have yet to play it. I have
Oh
wanted
God.
to. The last time, and this happened a few months ago, I was invited to, and then I had a family emergency that I had to
Oh,
back out,
oh
which
yeah,
I had to take care. Life always comes first.
of course.
But
Yeah.
I remember the first time I heard about it was with Spencer, because I was following Spencer like back before he joined Darrington Press. And I
From
remember
Hunter's
hearing about it from
Entertainment
Hunter's
days.
Entertainment, yeah,
Yeah.
and I thought initially that it was a Alice in Wonderland is Missing, like that was the vibe,
Oh,
and I kind of dismissed it immediately because it was like, yeah, okay, it's like it's fine. And then
yeah,
I heard
yeah,
about
yeah,
it
yeah,
again. I
yeah,
was like,
yeah,
okay,
yeah, yeah.
this sounds interesting.
No.
But I think that you're the first person who sold me. It's like, okay, I have to get in the game
Have
sooner than
to.
later because that sounds
I
so interesting.
Last year I did for some of my best friends ever. It was my first time playing the game, but I had already known how much I was going to love it. So I threw a whole party where I brought like those fake candles and did like 50 of them in a room and printed out the missing poster for Alice and did a birthday cake with candles and the music. It was the shit, the vibes. It's on my Instagram. You can go see the pictures. It was amazing.
That's awesome. Okay. So yeah, let's jump into now traits.
Okay.
Really just the top and the bottom.
The
I noticed that you have
uh,
strength as your main trait.
yeah,
Can you explain to
yeah.
me why strength?
So, interesting note for those of you who are coming over or primarily have played D&D, fifth edition specifically, you are familiar with another trait in there that is not represented in here, which is Constitution. Um, this is Constitution is, oh, how sturdy are you and your mentality and your well being and all of those things. I've heard a lot of arguments for what that could be associated with in Daggerheart, but I do think it's an important facet, or maybe my brain chemistry has just been associated with it. So although physically, and I am quite strong physically, I would like to note I am actually surprisingly strong. People don't think this of me. I can lift a lot. Um, but more so, I'm leaning into the missing aspect of constitution as
Yeah.
well. Again, being a person who came from kind of a tough upbringing and um, lots of mental illness issues and everything and therapy for years. I think I am very sturdy at this point. So that is my highest, both because I am strong AF, but also because my constitution modifier, were it in this game, would also be quite high.
Yeah. That makes sense. That makes total sense now. Yeah, and
I had to
Constitution, I
think
feel
about it
like
hard.
there've always been I think the current community is at like, oh, Constitution is just thresholds and HP. It's like, yeah, kind of, but not
Kind of.
really. But
You
then what happens if
never
you have to make a
use it.
roll? It's like, I don't know. And
You
I think
never
I
use it,
myself
but yeah. Well, go
I
ahead.
I think I myself, even in the rulings of it, I have just like, how do you resist it? And what are you using? And so it could be this con save that's strength, or a con save that I've seen instinct
Yeah.
been thrown around there.
Presence,
So, or
Yeah,
yeah,
you're
same thing with presence.
Force of will. I can see it being a lot of different things, but I certainly I've always related it to like a physical sturdiness, even though I don't think that is specifically what it is. So I'm just working some crazy magic here. I thought
Yeah.
it was fun. It was a good time.
Yeah.
Now, I do need you to explain to me
Oh God.
why agility is your negative modifier.
Because I'm slow. That's it. I have no sprint. I have no boosts. I have no
Mm-hmm.
hops. I am slow. Finesse, I'm pretty good with, like little
Sure.
intricate stuff, navigating through stuff. I'm good. I ran long distance for years, pretty good at it and everything. Cannot sprint for shit. Still can't.
Fair. No,
Yeah.
I think as someone who naturally is faster than other people
Oh, are you
somehow.
fast?
Ish. I've
That's good.
as a dad, I have gotten slower.
Less
That's all I'll say.
fast.
Um, but that being said, it is one of those things like how do you run slow? And then my nerdy self decides to go into the actual chemistry of like how people are built and all that stuff, and then
Oh yeah.
realizing sometimes you're just born that way.
It was me. I was born that way. I don't understand strides. I was quite athletic. I was quite powerful as a child. So I was on baseball and I was always pinch hitter fourth up to bat because I can hit so hard that it will frequently go over into the
Yeah.
bleachers and stuff. But if it didn't, all of the other three would certainly make it to home base and my coach would be screaming, "Move those legs, Rachel," because I'm just like, oh, and then I'm so slow. I'm so slow.
All right, give me another duality before we go
Okay.
into my favorite part, or one of my favorite parts, which is talking about experiences.
Ooh, okay. Keep locking him out of fear. Oh my God. And it did. It's a 12 on the hope die and a
12
2 on
on
the
the hope
fear.
die.
14 total with hope.
14 total. Another TTRPG question that I'm going to throw at you. Who was your most favorite character that you have ever played? It could have been from an NPC that you created, or it could have been an actual PC that you played as.
Um, I mean, like, I know the answer just immediately, which is Elise.
Okay. Who's
When
Elise?
I Elise is a war cleric of Thorm, and she was a half orc that when I first got into Dungeons and Dragons, I started playing with my friends at home. So I GM'd before I ever played ever. And everybody else was intimidated by GMing. So they would do little silly things, but I really wanted to play. So I found out that my friendly local game store had these things called epics
Okay.
through Adventurers League, which lots of people get to just bring a level 1 character and play. Heads up, they don't always love when you do that because you're squishy and you will probably die, and that's bad for the epic. So I researched and I was like, but a half orc, if you drop to 0, you bounce back up with 1, less squishy.
Okay.
And a cleric, healing. I'll roll up to one of these tables, I'll bring this squishy character, and it worked like a charm. So much so that the table, like several of them, invited me to start playing with them on a weekly basis. And she was Elise. She wasn't very smart, but she was super nice. And when she finally got the spell to speak with her deity, she talked with her party and she was like, "Give me the things that you want to ask." And she was like, "But I need one question. You can have the other two." And she asked the first one of like, "Where's the bad guy?" And the second one of like, "What path should we take to get there?" And her third question, she was like, "Am I doing a good job?" It was just
Oh,
her favorite food is
that's
grapes.
so precious.
Yeah. She ended as a level 20. She helped destroy Tiamat. Tiamat died to fall damage in that campaign. Super ridiculous.
That is such an amazing, like, I just want to try,
Yeah.
and then making it that one character go all the way up to basically the apex of D&D, which is fighting Tiamat, I feel.
Yeah.
That's such a great story, and I can see
Yeah.
why.
I love her.
Wow.
Shout out to my friend Christy who played the old lady who I was very good friends with. She was several
Yeah.
people,
Shout out
so
to
I won't give
Christy.
her a
Christy,
name.
if you show up in the comments, someone find her, send her this video.
Oh, Christy, I miss you.
All right, let's do experiences here. Your first experience. This I find that this is the most telling of an individual. Stronger than I look. We've kind of gone through a little bit of this, but you want to talk about it a little bit more?
Well, listen, I will be honest. Some of this is just I was validating what was happening there of like, yes, I've chosen a guardian and what of it. I do think though that does speak to who I am as a person. I think the biggest feedback I consistently have gotten in jobs and in my career is it's okay to ask for help. Because I have this thing deep within me that wants to prove that I can handle it. So I think experience is certainly telling about the character, which is unfortunately me, which is that I want everyone to see me as strong. And I am working on that in therapy.
I am right there with you.
Like,
So, I'm gonna skip to the last one because I think we've kind of gone over some of this. But friend of the forest, is this referring back to your upbringing?
it is. It absolutely is. I love a good tree. Like my friends know I moved to Arizona for a couple of years. I could not live there. Much love to all of you that do. There are very few trees and I love a tree. And I also I just spent a lot of time in the forest and it's very peaceful. I like the blanket of sound. I know a lot about animals and stuff that are in the forest and how to watch for them, and how to run away from them or not run away from them, depending on what it is. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. And so these are the ones that I don't really know what this means. I'll start with the one that's maybe a little, maybe a little bit, but Jack of all trades,
Yeah,
which is a bard feature in D&D. So,
it is. But
why?
it's
What is Jack of all trades to you?
yeah, this would be the one that the GM would certainly fight me on, I feel like,
Oh,
because it could have
probably. It's like
okay.
this
Yeah.
applies to every single possible role here.
Yeah, but that is some of the problem is that I jack of all trades, the end of the phrase is master of none. I all of my life was good enough at so many things naturally, good enough that I got thrown into a lot of stuff and I wanted to try a lot of the stuff. I wasn't the victim of it. And I have competence and can speak on a lot of different things. I have a wide variety of interests. I very frequently feel like in my real life that I am a jack of all trades. You know, I have had video game days and I have had clubbing days and I've traveled and I like to cook at home and bake. I am very much that. But again, sadly, the consequence is that I am a master of nothing. Like, so so yeah, I feel that a lot about who I am as a person is that I am multidimensional and I bounce into little things here and there. But yeah.
Do you know the entire quote for that? Because you've said the first and the beginning, but there's actually a middle part.
Oh my God. Jack of all trades.
A jack of all trades is the master of one, but oftentimes better than a master of one. A jack of all
Yes.
trades is the master of
It's
none, but
true.
oftentimes better than a master of one. So
Yeah.
because I am the same way. I am very much a jack of
Right?
all trades, and so as soon as I heard the full phrase, like I'm validated.
I like that a
So I
lot. That
hope that
does make
validates
me
you
feel,
as
it
well.
does. Yeah, it does make me feel a lot better because, yeah, I think sometimes I look at my childhood and I just you know you believe in yourself. We all think that we were going to be one of those kids that got the letter to the school that must not be named because of reasons and everything. But we all thought that we had that, you know. And and but I always thought that if I had focused all of my energy to just one thing, the acting or the dancing or the Model United Nations or debate or one act play or
Yeah.
robotics or I did a lot of shit. If I did just one, I all of my energy, maybe I could have been the top of that. But I just instead I put a 2% of myself into each one of those things.
Yeah.
But I do love it that way. I have a lot of fun. Do you have a lot of fun doing it?
Yeah, always.
Right? It's a
So,
good
yeah.
time.
Okay. Last experience.
Yeah.
Just so we can pick back up a bit on the pacing here.
Yeah.
What is never met a stranger?
Oh, do you know that phrase? Are you not familiar with that
I know that
phrase?
phrase a little bit, but I want to
Yeah.
I want to see what does that mean to you?
Never met a stranger is that I can walk into a room of 100 people and I will find something in common with everyone there. I like to know people. I am a people person, even though I am also an introvert. And in fact, a lot of the time, if there's someone that is quiet and excluded on the periphery of the group, that's my new friend. I go find them and have fun with them. Not in the shitty way of like, you're so quiet. No, I go talk to them and I'm like, hey, what's going on?
Yeah.
Yeah. Never met a stranger.
Love it. We have 2 more segments here, but in between each segment, we always roll for duality. So let's see if you give me a fear this time.
Okay. Come on. I love this. Let's embarrass him. But Max 6, so there it is.
Okay.
That's a 9 with fear.
A couple of things that are a little different with the fear questions. The fear
Okay.
questions are a little bit more about some of the struggles or some of the other aspects of your life. So a 9 with fear.
Okay.
Have you ever felt disappointed by a story that you've told or a character that you created?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
share with me the specific
Oh,
example that comes to mind.
I was just like, yes, I have.
Yes.
Yeah. I was disappointed in the early days of GMing with my first group ever. I thought that I was not participating in session zeros. I was not really listening to my players very effectively and stuff. And I thought that the thing that I needed to do was raise the emotional stakes of the game. And so I had them in a very small town where some of their stuff got stolen, and there were rumors of a thieves guild that was very powerful under the city. So they went down to that was littered with traps that nearly killed them. And then they did a massive amount of AoE to the area and killed the denizens of that thing. I now would have changed what I had written. They were children, impoverished children that were stealing to sell so that they could survive. They were taking care of other smaller children. Um, and I even got roasted on that one because it was such a moment that I like typed in to my local community when I was in a different city at this point. And I was like, guys, I did this thing and I don't want to like emphasize this moment of sadness, but also I don't want to take away from the emotional weight of it. What should I do? And everybody in the comments was like, you suck. Why would you do that? You made them kill children. And I was like, I didn't intend for them to, but it did happen. And they were like, it's in your brain. You can change it, make them be anything. And we moved past that plot point very quickly. I tried to minimize it and everything. It was fine. Everyone was okay. My players still love me, but it was that sucked. That was bad.
Yeah.
That was don't do that
Yeah.
ever. Why
Which is
would
why
you?
Which to everyone listening, this is why session zeros are so important to
So
get those
important.
things out there.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, yeah.
My group wasn't trying to have that happen. Like, and how cheap. I think I was probably like 22 at the time, but what a cheap ploy. Like a
Yeah.
movie killing the dog, fridging the wife. Like, get over yourself.
All right. So I just want you to go through this this last part before we jump into this encounter. I
Mm.
want you to go through your domain cards and say why, or it's like what the domain card is and why you picked it.
Okay. Now, you're about to find out something about me, which is that I play as a player so rarely that I can't ever really use use demiplane effectively to find where my domain cards are. Let's see.
Which by the
Um,
time this video releases, the only reason that Rachel is not pulling out her physical cards is because Daggerheart, when we record this, has not released yet. So we're kind of sitting here cardless, unfortunately.
except a little bit in Australia, apparently.
Yeah, at this time. So for all the drama that I'm sure has happened at this point,
Yeah.
that's the time of recording when this comes out.
Yeah, yeah, this is the day that we started seeing pictures. So, okay. All right. I found them. Did I find them? Yeah, I found them. Okay. So I need to go to my vault as well. So the first thing that I took, I think, was literally just whirlwind. I think that first of all, I built some of this just building as a tank in Daggerheart, but also I do think that I, as a project manager by trade, I can effectively take down a lot of barriers
Yeah.
quickly. Yeah, right? I thought about
That
this.
makes
And
sense. That totally makes sense.
yeah, so I think that I am that thing that you put in the path of barriers and I take them down so that your team can move aggressively through project management, baby. Retaliation. I have some rage issues. Like I am a Pisces. I don't know if anybody else cares about that, but I have a thing that I'm trying to get better at where I have to verbalize when I feel wounded or rejection so that I can communicate. And in my past, my unhealed self, I was quite retaliatory in little ways. I just really know how to suck the energy out of a room when I'm hurt. You know what I mean? So, retaliation. Um, a soldier's bond, because I think something that I am good at is finding a way to forge connections with people and to highlight and tell a person about what I admire in them. And I think I truly mean it. It's never like I'm never blowing smoke up anybody's ass. I really believe it. But I feel like that's one of the things you want out of your tank is someone who is supporting your party as in myriad ways. Scramble, I just took Scramble because it's just such a good one for a guardian to have. You could take no damage, and in all honesty, that is one of the biggest questions I have in life is I'm one of those people that the worst things that'll ever happen to me already happened to me. And sometimes I'm like, ooh, should I just like take that away? Ultimately, no. But if I had had the ability to prevent that emotional damage from happening to me, then certainly would have scrambled, you know?
Yeah.
Huh.
And then
And
what's in
then,
your vault?
all right.
Oh wait, you still
So
have one more. And then what's in
I
your
have
vault?
one
Yeah.
more. I have one
Yeah.
more.
Yeah.
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 Which is support tank. Yes. Support tank is when an ally close to you fails a roll, you can spend 2 hope to allow them to re-roll their hope or fear die and take the new result instead. And again, I think this is where you're really seeing the kind of tank that I am. The differences. I'm not necessarily like super like I don't know. I'm not dominating the battleground. What I certainly am doing is allowing people with things like battle maneuvers to shine and be the best version of themselves. I love theater. I've done a lot of theater, but I don't just love being on the stage. I also have loved being a stage hand and stuff and helping to get everybody looking as good as they are. My narcissism extends to everyone around me too. I all want us to look great, you know?
Love it.
All right, and then my vault. So in my vault, do I just have one card in my vault?
Likely, it's either
I
one
think
or
at
two. Is
level
I think most
5.
people have. Yeah, at level 5.
Yeah, at level 5, I just have the one. Ugh, you know what? I thought that I took something else too. Okay, I took Hypnotic Shimmer. This is
Ooh, okay.
because at level 5 is when you unlock your multiclass. So that's when I was able to take the Bard aspect. And Hypnotic Shimmer for me, first of all, it's a good spell to have access to because you get to stun enemies that you succeed against. So anything within close range, you could be in a huge area. It's really strong. It's strong as a spell because stunning is a temporary condition in the system, which means that a GM has to use fear for each individual person that they want to unstun, in my understanding of it. Um, very strong, but the reason that I took it is because I think this aspect speaks to my ability to tell stories and to entertain people and be the kind of life of the party person and find a way to help showcase storytelling and everything. I think there's a little bit of magic to that, and I don't know how I do it. I couldn't tell you the formula for it, but GMing is that, you know?
Yeah.
When you get people that are like, that was good, you know? Like,
Yeah.
that's a little hypnotic shimmer.
Love it. So
This brings us to one final roll before we jump into this encounter. So give me this last duality roll here, Rachel.
Okay.
Let's see who it goes to this time.
Yeah. If I get one more hope, I'm at max hope. Come on,
Ooh.
friendship. Oh no. I rolled an 11 on one of the dice and I was like, ooh, but it was 11 on the fear die. So that's with
Okay.
fear. 15 with fear.
15 with fear. So this question is, have you ever had a campaign that you were so excited to do go completely south?
I think the thing about me is that I have some pragmatism and some realism to me. I don't really get very excited about a campaign until it shows the bearings of fruit, you know? So I have had a lot of campaigns that didn't get off the ground or worse, disappointing and stuff. I certainly was in not campaigns. I've played some really weird one shots where dudes were super weird and I was GMing. Um, but but as far as campaigns go, the worst thing that ever happened to me was just being very bored. Somebody wanted to do it's always pirates, Daniel. People
It's always
people
pirates. Everyone wants to do pirates.
I had so much fun with the Scapegoat's Plunder. Everybody else, stop doing pirates. Do anything else. Like I need anything else. And in
Little
that
Mighty
one,
Nine, Critical Role. Please do pirates again. I do want to
nope,
see pirates.
don't do
I
pirates. I don't
I want to
want
go
it.
back to Darktail. That's just me, but it's fine.
Yeah, not me. I am a pirates over ninja person, but I have just played so many pirates. And there is this, I was so desperate to play more tabletop. This is before I got involved in Adventurers League in person. So I went and found an online community through Start Playing. And I was like, they had a thing, and I was like, oh, I would love to play. I built the whole character, I did the whole background, all of that stuff. And then we were on a boat for 3 4-hour games, and it was like one battle, and he had like a million enemies. And they just got to act. They're not, a million is crazy, but like
Sure.
40
Yeah.
enemies against the 5 of us, and they weren't doing significant damage, but he rolled for each one individually, and we're on a virtual tabletop. So he was like moving their thing, and he'd be like, now they roll, do that hit. And I was like, just group attack me. Group,
Yeah.
please. You know, like that was the worst. That was the worst one. It was fine. I wasn't disappointed. I was just like, ugh, let me go. Like,
So that brings us to our final portion of the Duality podcast, which is a combat encounter. Rachel, you have been sprinting for about the past 10 minutes, running through corridor and corridor in this labyrinthine area and space. You have been opening doors left and right, finding that they lead into portals into other worlds that you don't know. You hear some footsteps behind you as you what sounds like 3 individuals running. As they come up, they are your squad, the group that you walked in with in here. They are people who work for you, with you. You are their boss. I do want to know, what is the name of this group of yours?
Oh no, I'm really bad at naming things. The Jindalian Ginnies.
Jindalian Ginnies. So you and the Ginnies, as they all kind of get into place, like sit, their weapons in hand. For the first and the second quadrant, we've we've looked everywhere. We haven't found him. You are currently looking for this essential chaos gremlin who has just been navigating through the space, finally getting into his lair, has been warping in and out of various planes, causing chaos everywhere it goes. You know the first 2 quadrants are cleared from your group. There's only 2 quadrants left. As you begin running, kind of getting towards the center of the area, I need you to make an instinct roll as you hear just this cackling as like it echoes into the space. Make an instinct roll for me.
Okay. All right. I would say, yeah, I'm not gonna do anything. Just an instinct roll. It's gonna be 13 with hope.
13 with hope. Go ahead and add that hope. As you do so, you take a moment to kind of ascertain the space. You hear the sounds of portals being entered and exited through. This thing is still creating chaos everywhere it goes. You navigate into what you believe is the 3rd quadrant, and as you go through, you hear the constant sound of these portals going womp womp as something is passing in and through and coming, leaving and then coming back out. You spend the next like 10-15 minutes running through this 3rd quadrant, swearing you know you heard it, and at the very end you make it to this spot where there's this one portal with a door open, but there's no entryway, and you just see this like almost like this large like voice box that's just making this cackling sound. As you approach it, you see it like begin to like spawn these eyes and kind of go bulbous as like the 2 knobs on it like pop out, and then it's just gonna like run forward as the rest of your crew like stands ready to fire. 2 of them fire, but it kind of dodges out of the way. It is gonna make an attack roll towards you as you did not quite hit the DC for able to find this thing. Does a 21 hit, which I assume will.
Absolutely.
This small individual is going to make an attack roll towards you. Let me get my d4s. That is going to be 9 points of physical damage towards you.
Okay, fantastic. All right, great, no problem. So 9 points. I am going to go ahead and use I'll use 3 armor slots and just reduce it to nothing. Why not?
Yeah, you kind of like reaching forward, you take your shield, kind of pushing it off of you. You have this moment to strike. The rest of them, now that you've pushed them off, kind of take and fire an arm. You do have advantage. Your squad is right next to you, following your orders and following everywhere that you've been.
Oh, wait, first, I would like to immediately, as soon as he hit me, I would like retaliation to happen. So when I take damage from a creature in melee range, I can mark a stress to immediately deal my weapon damage to it. So
yeah, go ahead and make the attack, or what's the damage?
It's just damage. So let me go ahead and roll 2d8 plus 2. Ooh, 7 on that one. 7 on that one. 14, 15, 16 points of damage to this guy.
16 points of damage is going to be a severe wound. As you do so, your crew, the Jenny's, kind of like ready, kind of almost ready to fire. To one of them kind of runs forward to make an attack, and as you kind of sling it back, it just completely discombobulates and the parts are just scattered across the space. Meanwhile, you still begin to hear these sounds of portals. Womp womp. The creature that you are chasing, this gremlin, is in quadrant 4. As you begin to start running, make an agility roll for me as you run off the other way, having to kind of make time back up for having been distracted down the wrong path.
Okay, so we're just making an agility check.
Agility check, yeah.
Okay, I think that's fine. Not fine. Oh god, a 1 on my hope, a 12 on my fear, -1 brings it to 12 with fear total. Just as a note, I am restoring one of my armor slots because given I'm stalwart, I don't have to use one of my armor slots. I immediately remove it for my damage. But bad. Easily. 12 with fear on that roll.
12 with fear.
I'm slow.
You're running through. The rest of your crew kind of running forward ahead of you as you notice that you're not as quick as one of your comrades kind of takes a look at you and kind of waits for the okay for them to begin sprinting way ahead of you.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I'm nodding like go.
Yeah. They just start running as fast as they can. Like you start making your way as fast as you're possibly able to. And by the time you make it into quadrant 3, you hear like the blast of like this arcane root, like this arcane like runic sound that just kind of explodes. You make it and you see like two of the Jennies just kind of like dropped on the ground, like just prone, as one of them is currently engaged with what you see. I want you to describe to me what this chaos gremlin looks like, as he's standing in front of one portal, the door wide open, but your other Jenny has made it in melee range of it.
Looks like Sam Riegel in the Daisy costume. There you go. You're welcome. I would like to go unstoppable as well.
Yeah, you do so, kind of going in, seeing that your the two of your
bitch.
compatriots kind of said, you're like, "Why, there you are!" And it's just like stares right at you, and it's not even like concerned with the one that is engaged with it, as it's just kind of like dodging these attempted strikes. You running up forward, it is going to make an attack roll before you get up to range with it against your ally. Your ally, what is your armor or evasion? Because they are only 2 evasion higher than yours.
My evasion is 8.
Your evasion 8, so theirs would be 10. However, I rolled a 10 on the die, plus the plus 3 is going to be a 13. You see your other ally just take a pretty brutal hit. As it does so, it's almost like the creature like takes this like swing and then stops and then just flicks its finger up and then just kind of like pings off as he just kind of gets smacked across onto the wall, and he just smiles at you. I'm gonna spend 1 fear to take 1 more action, and it's gonna make an agility roll to just turn and run through the portal.
Oh god, oh no.
I'm gonna spend 1 more fear to activate Utter Chaos, as it's to add a +2 experience to this, which makes it a 13, which just succeeds as he jumps into this portal. You hear the whomp. Your ally at the moment, the 2 of them in the back, just finished standing and making their way in there, begin to assess the one melee combatant. As he turns to you, you found this. This is the only chance you have. You've been on this creature's trail for who knows how long at this point. But you do have a moment to speak to your comrade.
Good. Okay, this is the one that just took the damage?
Uh-huh.
Okay, I'd like to immediately go into my bardic side, and I want to reach out to them and say, first, I want to rally. It's just me and
Sure.
them, right?
Yeah, easily.
Hey. I know that was really hard back there. Don't worry about it. We've got this. I need you to stay locked in though, okay? Just really and truly. It's Sam Riegel in a Daisy costume. I think we could take him, you know? And so he gets a D6. I also get a D6 for our Bardic Rally.
Yeah.
And then I'm also going to, by the way, use, if you'll allow it, just for funsies, can I also have used that as my rousing speech to
Sure.
all allies who can hear me can clear 2 stress?
Yeah, they
Okay.
begin kind of like, one of them kind of resets the mental mind. The kind of medic of the group kind of resets her mind, and she kind of grabs a hold of what looks to be these kind of like arcane defibrillators and begins to kind of like tend to the wounds. He looks at you, the one that just got hit by the finger, and says, "Go, we'll catch up, I promise."
All right. If you find yourself in a hopeless place, come find me, okay?
As you jump through the portal, you find yourself...
With my leap.
Yeah, as you leap through, you find yourself now in this kind of wide open space. You see
Shout out Dixie
buildings
Chicks.
and structures up sky high. You are in a metropolis, and in the center of this, there's this statue of this kind of like what looks to be this kind of like noble of some kind. And you see street vendors everywhere. It's a busy network at the moment as people are going through, and just on the corner you see the chaos gremlin kind of like shift into this invisibility, as like she goes shh, and like continue, and then just begins walking around. As you see and begin making your way and trying to run past the crowds getting through, there are individuals who are suddenly just like taking things that don't belong to them. One kind of grabs this apple and just crushes it in his hand, which gets the vendor that's selling it riled up. What do you do here?
I think I would like to. So this is a filled plaza, like a filled street,
Yeah,
effectively.
essentially.
I think what I'd like to do is, in my vault, I have Hypnotic Shimmer. It costs 1 stress to swap into my hand. I'd like to go ahead and spend that stress to swap it out for my support tank because I'm here alone. So I'm going to swap that out. And then I am going to, with this, I would like to make a spellcast roll against the enemies in front of me within close range. So everything, because I just saw that creature,
you
he was
just saw
near
them.
me, right? So this would effectively stop everything. I'm going to go ahead and make that flashing colors and lights to see if I can stun everything.
Yeah. Go ahead and
So-
make the roll for me.
For that, I would like to go ahead and add everybody stay calm. I need you to. And that I would like to invoke Never Met a Stranger. Could I also invoke Jack of all trades?
Go ahead and mark them.
All right, great. So 2 hope down. And then I'm going to go ahead and roll. So that's going to be a +4 total. Plus, I'm going to add my rally die into this. Oh my god, it's so good. That's with fear. Okay, so that is going to be 23, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35 with... Should I make it? Yeah, with fear. That's fine.
Everyone kind of confused.
I really would like to use Bard's Hope. I'll drop 3 hope to make it into a roll with hope.
Yeah. As you do so, initially everyone within range, all these like civilians at this point would be marked, but as you do so, this kind of scattering of colors that you spring into the air, you have fought this thing before within a crowded area. Knowing that, it kind of brings back to you these memories that you have basically been working in your in kind of like your office, your hideout, where the Jinnies claim as their home, and have been working to manufacture this spell or this device or what you have into something that does not harm those that you wish not to harm. And as you do so, casting it, you just immediately just see what was invisible get shimmered with a spray of light, and like the chromatic colors just freeze frame this individual as he's like about to touch the head of what looks to be a child for a moment, saving this individual. But he goes, "Ah!" and he's just stuck in that face with his tongue out.
Yeah.
So your go.
Since I have a moment, first I'm going to like push my hair back and I'm going to pull a walkie-talkie out of my thing and hey, Kayla, she's one of the people in the support group. She's the medic. Hey, I just want to let you know you're really good at your job. I'm going to use Soldier's Bond to take 3 hope for both of us.
I love it.
And then, all right, so now I'm at 5 out of 6 hope.
Okay.
And I would like to immediately... He's a bad guy, right? I'm a little bit shaky on this guy, but he's trying to hurt this child, yes?
Yeah. Every
Okay.
single person he walks across, chaos ensues.
Yeah, it's gonna be time to murder. So I'm gonna go ahead and go into my attack with this guy. So that is going to be... Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and just do my... I don't want to do Whirlwind. There's all of these other people around here. I'm not going to hurt anybody else. Let's just do a standard weapon attack, I'd say.
Yeah, do it.
So this is going to be my duality plus my strength is +3. Can I add stronger than I look into this?
I would say so.
Okay. Oh, now that's not great. And then I get to add that die to it because I have my unstoppable for a 15 with fear.
15 with fear. Total?
15 total with fear. Yeah, I rolled really bad. All of the pluses are from other stuff happening.
With that, it's almost like he's just one step ahead of you. As you are nearing the strike, he just almost like breaks free from the stun, as I will spend the fear that you just gave me to break that stun, and you do
God,
miss, as his
no.
difficulty is 16. In doing so, he immediately is going to take his turn. I'm going to spend a stress, and you just see him kind of like almost like his eyes like multiply to a now 4 eyes. He has 2 noses. He has 4
my
ears, and he
God.
just begins like adding more faces and features. 4 hands before eventually just kind of splitting off of his body, and he just multiplies and he like and like slaps, like gives like a high five to himself. I'm gonna spend 1 more fear to make an attack roll against you, though.
Okay, let's go.
That is going to be in this multiply form. I do have Relentless too. I think this is gonna hit anyway, but a 17 on the first.
Absolutely hits.
Second one is going to be, this one's a natural 20. This has been the
No.
epitome of you. This thing has morphed and has tricks that you haven't even seen before yet. And the first attack is going to be, very low roll, a total of 6 points of physical damage.
Okay, 6 points of physical damage. I take nothing because I am a stalwart guardian, and so
Yeah.
I already have an armor class of 7 right now.
Yeah, the second one is going to make that attack roll against you, though, for a total of... This is not great rolls for me. 12 points of physical damage. The other one does manage to kind of get around you, but as you do so, are you using any armor to negate it?
12 points of damage, so it's going to reduce automatically by my armor, which again is not... I'm just gonna take 1 hit point. I'm gonna take 1 hit point for that. So yeah, I'm good. I'm good.
You do so. The individual, as he does strike you, I am going to spend 1 more fear to activate his passive.
Okay, but now I don't want to interrupt you, but my retaliation is still up, and he's hit me twice.
Yeah. Well, he's hit
Okay.
you. Yes, he has hit you twice. That being said, on this second hit, go ahead and roll the retaliation damage on 2 instances. Let me know what those totals are. But as it does so, it is going to bring that second roll, at least, to your hope die down to an 8. Until you clear this condition. Until you clear the
okay.
hope goes down to an
On
8.
the
So what's the
second
first one?
Okay.
What's the
So
first damage?
The first damage is 11. Okay.
11.
Yeah,
It's
so
a
11
minor
points of
wound.
damage. Okay, great. And then the second one, I switch my hope die to a D8. Oh no!
The retaliation automatically hits, so just roll damage.
Oh, fantastic! That's right. Okay,
It's just
okay,
so
great.
on your
Oh,
next
that's right.
hits moving
100%.
forward. Yeah,
Absolutely. So,
Yeah.
so that's
you just need to
gonna
mark a
go
stress
up
for
to-
it. So
oh my
mark
gosh.
2 more stress.
Yeah, absolutely. And mark 2 stress. Mark A. Yeah. I see what you're saying. A
stress for each.
My stress for each one of these happening, and then again. 13 points of damage on the second one.
13 is going to be a major wound, taking 2 more off of this creature.
Okay.
It attempts to kind of like move and jumble out of the way. Now that like it's made and seen, everyone's kind of like in this panic. What is going on? People start kind of going crazy, running across the space away from whatever this creature is and this combat that you have with it. But it does swing back to you.
Okay. All right. Great. So the first thing that I would like to do is, no, I don't need to do that yet. I'm fine. I would like to go ahead and we're gonna try. If I couldn't do that very well, I'm gonna try to hit him again. Just again, a standard attack, but this time I'm going to try to go in with kicking.
Sure.
I'm gonna try to distract him with my feet before I slap him with the halberd. I'm just trying to get some fun stuff in there, but my halberd is stronger. So
And
okay,
there
I need
are,
to
in fact, 2 of them if you want to spend a hope to hit them both.
Ooh, I do. I absolutely do. 100%. Okay, great. Yeah. Perfect. Fantastic. So I'll go ahead and mark a hope for my whirlwind ability to hit them both. And then let's go ahead. Well, technically, I don't have to spend the hope until I hit. So let's see. That is so funny. It's the 3s again. It's 2 3s. There's a 3
2
on my
crits.
D8.
That's another crit.
Yeah.
Let's bring it back then. Love it.
Fantastic. So, brutal critical, first introduced by Sean, right? Or Chris Perkins. Wasn't it Chris Perkins who first introduced
I believe so,
critical?
yes. Yeah, Chris
Okay,
Perkins used that
fantastic.
rule.
So, I'm going to mark the hope, and then we're going to do the maximum damage on my halberd. So that is going to be, and that is going to move up to a D6 because I'm damaging 2 different things. So, 20 plus, and then maximum of that would be 30 plus 21, 51 points of damage to each of them.
You slash into one of them. The body kind of goes almost like limp and turned into basically Play-Doh and drops to the ground. The other one like notices the swing and looks at the severity and the seriousness in your eyes as it's just trying to run away as fast as it can. In this moment, though, you are finally one step as a fawn, leaping and using your kick foot step. How do you want to do this?
Oh my god,
53
incredible.
is beyond its severe threshold.
Suck it, losers. I like to scream as I shish kebab both of them onto my halberd like little roasty marshmallows. And then as soon as I do that, I want to push it up and push it down into the ground and put my foot on top of them and stand very strong and proud.
Yeah, it's as you do so, the chaotic nature of this creature kind of just shifts and morphs in a moment, and then as it like lays, you stick your feet on top. It almost like sprouts. It's like automatic, like its hand just like almost like it knew it would die eventually. Sticks its hand in the air, and in its hand somehow is like the surrender flag. It's just like waving it. He is completely dead from the impact. The rest of your comrades of the Ginnies kind of make their way through, kind of noticing and seeing you in the corner or like in the center of the space. People kind of navigating their way around, running away from whatever this creature is. The Ginnies kind of make their way towards you, and then notice that it's finally gone. It's dead. The last one of these gremlins that got away from you before is done. But the fear still sets in every person's eyes. They don't know what this creature is, nor who you are. The individuals now beginning to kind of, like, their faces are familiar, but they are not from the world you're from. They don't know who you are. When Kayla, right? Kayla walks up to you and says, so, following protocol? And he hands you something. What does she hand you, and what does it do?
Oh my gosh. Obviously, I'm just gonna nod to her. Couldn't do it without you, best friend. And we both cry a little bit. And then we all are going to bring out of our pockets some sunglasses and say, hold on, folks, this will just take a second. We're gonna put them on, and it's the Men in Black. I'm just gonna need you to look right.
As you very easily cast Hypnotic Pattern once more, or Hypnotic Shimmer, whatever the spell was.
Yeah,
as everyone just kind of like looks over, everyone's eyes are on you. The flashes of light, everyone just kind of stunned. You begin to reset the area, taking this creature, taking its flag, kind of throwing it off, and taking it back through the portal as you head back home. And with that said, Rachel, that is Duality. Thank you for joining me on this adventure. Thank you for being a part of Scapegoats Plunder with our community podcast and Let's Play. Before we all go, Rachel, once again, where can we find you? Where are you located at?
Yeah, go find me at The Faint Divinities. The Faint Divinities, all one word, on YouTube or Twitch. We air every Sunday on Twitch, kind of, and on YouTube. We're getting up to date. Come find us. And also, if you will be at Gen Con 2025 this year, I will be GMing there.
And me.
And also Daniel, we're both going to be GMing there. I've been GMing with Darrington Press at conventions for the last year, and I'll be at my second Gen Con with them. Come find us, play at our tables.
Yeah. So with that being said, everyone, thank you for watching. Rachel, once again, thank you. And we will see you in the next episode of Duality.
Thanks.
From ink and steel, stories are forged. We are BladeBound Saga.